I'd like to welcome Mastercard to the studio now.
I would like to welcome Siddique, Hamid, and Neeraj Javia from Mastercard. Welcome to our show. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Awesome. Thanks, Kirill. I'm Siddique Hamid, VP of Software Engineer at Mastercard. So I work specifically at Ethica, which is a Mastercard company specialized in fighting fraud and preventing credit card disputes. So at a high level, what we do, I wanted to kind of quickly give some brief background of my role here, and then I'll hand over to Neeraj after that. So at a high level, I lead engineering teams working on Consumer Clarity Platform. So what is Consumer Clarity Platform? Essentially, what it does is it connects card issuing banks and merchants to provide rich purchase information, like by providing recognizable merchant names, logos, digital receipts, and subscription control. And then, again, there's we were going to touch upon a lot more than that. So I'm solely responsible for coming up with the strategy and executing the build work and make sure operationally the platform is fully up and running, and catering to our customers on day in day out basis. Back to you, Kirill.
And Neeraj, would you mind introducing yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure, Kirill. My name is Neeraj Javia. I'm Director of Software Engineering at Mastercard. Apart from building new capabilities on the Clarity ecosystem, which Siddique just mentioned, one of the focus areas is how to make that platform reliable and scalable as we grow. So that is one of my key focus area, and that's where the Azure Cosmos DB comes into the play. So back to you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it's great to have you on the show. So maybe we can start with a use case. Siddique, would you mind telling us a little more? I know you mentioned fraud detection. What do you do and how do you use Cosmos DB in that use case?
Awesome. So it's more of a fraud prevention and credit card dispute prevention, and if I can put it that way, right? So Consumer Clarity is a data intensive platform, right? So which we offer really real time high throughput APIs where we need to perform certain operations in a fraction of a second. So currently, our platform is going at an exponential scale, right? In terms of our API traffic and data volume. Obviously, we have aggressive SLAs with the customers, and the need for speed is really high. So if I can put it this way, a metaphor I could use here is think of it like the platform. The need of what we do here is you are looking for a needle in a haystack, not from one room, probably in multiple rooms. You're looking for one needle across multiple rooms in those haystack. That's kind of what we do. A lot of parallel processing, a lot of high throughput, data intensive, complex data intensive operations we do behind the scene. So how do we use? How do we use it? I would say, if I can put it simply, we are using Cosmos DB at its fullest capacity, in a lot of terms, right? So that's basically how I can define it. So the use case, here is absolutely it's hitting on all the top areas with respect to the speed, resiliency, and such.
Makes sense. And if you would say, what is one capability of Cosmos DB that made it a really good fit for the fraud alerting?
Yeah, I would say, so just to clarify, it's credit card dispute prevention is the use case, right? Yeah. So I give you three, not one. So for us, high availability, resiliency, and performance throughput are the paramount for the platform success, right? So what we found, Cosmos DB checks off all those boxes and proven to be the right tool for the right job. So in all these things, there is no way we can trade off one or compromise one over the other. Cosmos DB was really helpful for us to pushing all these different aspects to the fullest, and then able to deliver on the solution, make sure we are able to fully function across all our global data centers across all the different regions. So that, to me, all those three are key, and Cosmos DB was able to really help us grow and scale with a really high speed in a quick turnaround, overall.
You can't even imagine how grateful I am from hearing you say this, because that is exactly the use cases that we've built Cosmos DB for. And Mastercard to me is an epitome of what a highly available and scalable system ought to be, right? I use it, I'm a customer, and I expect it to just work all the time. I expect it to never fail.
Yeah.
Not
Exactly.
like 5 nines or 6 nines, any nines. And Neeraj, you mentioned you focus on availability and resiliency. How do you use Cosmos DB? And I think Siddique mentioned active-active. How do you use the Cosmos DB in this setup?
Yeah. So as Siddique mentioned, our Clarity platform is a multi-region platform. So we need to get the data replication across the region. So let's start with the data ingestion process, right? So we ingest the data, billions of records, and then that need to be replicated, available in other regions. So that high availability kind of plays the big role on what we are offering to our customers across the globe. So that is one of the vital part of our Clarity scale. And the data ingestion process, like 2 years back, we used to deal with the 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes of data, but now it's scaled to double digit of data set, and still able to handle that SLA, with which we have very strict SLA in terms of response time and high availability. That's where the Azure Cosmos DB played a vital role in our success story.
That's really great to hear. That's exactly how Microsoft Cloud uses Cosmos DB as well. These are the type of scenarios where it needs to be global, it needs to just work, it needs to be available always, and enable you to do writes no matter which region you're doing the writes. And so as you do those writes, I imagine given the nature of the Clarity platform and the use case, the traffic is not constant, right? It varies. Do you guys use the autoscale capabilities, and how useful it is for you? What do you do with it?
Yeah, it's a game changing for us. So let me start with a journey back. When we went live with the Cosmos DB, we were pretty manual scaling. So our high intent jobs, like the ingestion part, which takes hours to ingest the data of billions records. And parallelly, we are doing the lookup when the updates are happening. So from manual to the autoscale, which we successfully rolled out last year, it played a big role. One, in scaling the platform from 100 to 1,000 TPS, but also parallelly executing those complex and heavy intent jobs without manually going and updating those RUs. So that's where I think it played an important role on where we stand today, and also looking forward for the growth which we expect in the near future.
Oh, that's really great to hear, because that's exactly when we were deciding whether to offer reactive autoscale versus proactive instant autoscale. That is a scenario where you don't want to compromise availability to achieve this optimal autoscale, but at the same time, you do want it to save you cost. That's great to hear. And I hope some of those capabilities that I mentioned through our session, like dynamic autoscale, per partition, per region autoscale, you will find a good use for, because it will allow you to scale differently in different regions automatically, depending on the time of day and depending on the traffic. Go ahead.
Yeah, you nailed that. You nailed exactly that point where we are kind of looking forward for that, because some regions we need scale at a different level than the other regions, right? Because the traffic is so fluctuating, depending on the day of a given time, right? So definitely looking forward for that capability, and we'll see how we can benefit from that.
Awesome. I'm really grateful for you guys to join me on this show. Thank you, and thank you for being a customer of Cosmos DB. I hope Cosmos DB will continue to provide you capabilities that do not disappoint you. Thank you. Thank you, Siddique. Thank you, Neeraj.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.